Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASIS strike.
You have done your work and put us to the wall. We are not your slaves. I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
Good morning and welcome to Africa's Finest Breakfast Show. It's Global Morning on the 29th day of January 2024. It means we've reached the business end of January and we're looking forward to February. We're lovers in a good mood. And of course, right here, we're always in a good mood to make a morning truly amazing. I'm not alone. I have someone who truly will make it super amazing.
Oh, good morning, each and every one of you out there. Hi, Anthony. How are you doing today?
Fine.
When you mentioned February, for those of us out there, I just don't want to mention any names. When I say those of us with this big smirk on my face, that have birthdays and we're receiving Valentine's gifts at the same time.
I think
We're the lucky ones.
I actually had to say lovers first before birthdays. I think she's feeling smart. She's smiling like someone who's in love, right?
Oh.
Right. All right, we're happy. For me personally, I don't know about you, but I and like 199 million, yes, Nigerians are happy because the Super Eagles were in emphatic form.
2-0.
Yeah, they smacked the Indomitable Lions.
Oh wow!
Of Cameroon.
You know, I saw like a cartoon that says the Eagles has killed the Lions, and I was like, what? Are you kidding me right now?
I think the Eagles,
that was a good one.
Yeah, the Eagles soared above the Lions, so it tells you the Eagles, they always have vision. Their focus, and they don't play with the birds. They always fly high altitudes.
And of course, they listen to criticism at the same time because you know everyone was saying, "I want to take us back."
What did we start tell them?
Yeah, exactly. And then what the president, the message he referred to them that they should be more serious and all of that. They should take this very seriously because they were playing like people who were not really serious, but maybe they were just trying to warm up with the 1-0 win and with the penalty kick and all of that gave us that win. But so far so good. Now 2-0. Now that's fantastic. Now we're playing.
Yeah, and I think I want to say thank you to Ademola Lookman, the guy who got us 2 goals, and also Osimhen who gave us that assist. So congratulations to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We hope you continue this good run so that we can get to the finals and pick the trophy for the 4th time.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. While we're celebrating across Nigeria, one state, the Confluence State, they've got 2 rivers. 2 big rivers, bodies are talking about River Benue and Niger.
Yes.
They got a new governor in the person of Usman Ahmed Ododo, and it was celebrations in Lokoja, lots of celebration people in Kogi State, and apparently that's where my co-anchor is from, so we're celebrating her and her people today. We hope. All right, that's the wave of the First Lady. All right, just put it into practice. But he made that's the man in the picture there on your screen, the new governor of Kogi State. He gave a very resounding speech saying that he was going to make Kogi the global destination for tourism and investment, and he was going to continue from where his predecessor stopped. He was very, very tactical in his speech. Mentioned every single person, including his grandma. But there were some controversial aspects for me, which I'll just hold on. Let's just talk about the good side first of all.
Talk about the good side, please.
Yeah, as for the fact that he looks poised to change the face of Kogi State and also bring lots of goodies to the people of the state. So we hope that would cut across. He made mention of everybody who supported him from the scratch, and I think that was very thoughtful of him. And the speeches he made, I'm sure gave Yaya Bello lots of comfort that they're not going to come after him. And
don't be too sure.
No, obviously, because already there's controversy as regards Ododo's tenure. brought in someone that's the nephew of ex-white governor Yahaya Bello, that's Ali Bello, making him chief of staff. But it's worrisome because this same young man is facing trials.
Laundry,
for, $3 billion.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
are you trying to protect him from the long arm of the law by making him a key member of the government so that immunity covers him? That's very...
Immunity will not cover him.
I felt that was very... Tactical, but devious of him. It just shows you he wants to continue where he's... And obviously, as long as Yahaya Bello is going to be playing the Godfather role, then I just hope he will be able to succeed.
But let's just have it at the back of our minds that there's no one above the law. What we've been seeing with cases of laundering cases and the anti-graft agency playing their key roles and actually investigating on the matter. So of course we know no one is above the law. Even when you have an appointment, if you're going to be probed, you'll be probed. If you're going to be investigated, you will be investigated. So let's just see how this plays out. But of course we heard there was a particular that mentioned that Ododo should please, there's so much insecurity in Kogi State, and of course so many pains of individuals that he should try and do much more than what the former governor Yahaya Bello did also. So we just pray that, like you said, he's poised, he understands, he doesn't forget, he remembers where he's coming from. For him to list all of those people during his speech, it means that he's someone that is grateful, he has gratitude. So let's just hope and see how this plays out, and hopes he plays the role everyone wishes he does.
All right, aside that, we'll also be talking on the global scenes, very interesting issues. There's a picture, hopefully, just to reveal where I got the picture from. My wife did send me that picture about the U.S. President, Joe Biden, kneeling before Floyd's son to apologize for what the U.S. did to his dad and awarding them $27 million. That's a big cash, man. But like my wife said, that would not bring Floyd back to life. But that gesture, kneeling before a young man, I was asking, can Tinubu do that?
No.
African culture will say no.
No, of course not. Of course not. We keep forgetting the fact that we're Africans, we're Nigerians.
But we're human beings first of all before Africans.
It takes someone who is not power drunk, who understands that there is life after this life, that God is all, that there's someone bigger than that individual, to actually kneel in front of an individual to apologize. But we have norms, we have values, we have morals. Who says, why would an elder kneel down before a younger individual? And of course, the Nigerian mentality, when we have three pieces of meat, the first takes, the second takes before the last person. So we have all of these things that we have to put in place. So there are cultures involved. But I doubt that very much. All right,
I will show you the picture. It will be for a conversation for you out there to tell us if you think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu could kneel down before probably a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old boy to apologize for what Nigeria did to
not Nigeria, what America.
Yeah, no, we're giving just an example. Yeah, what America. So we're going to be looking at that somewhere along the line. Then a very big issue played out in the continent. We're global, so we're going from globe. Now we're back to Africa, the continent. A very sad occurrence. After 49 years of existence, we've got ECOWAS in big mess. As Niger, Burkina Faso,
and I remember that.
Yeah, sorry, putting you on the spot like I put myself on the spot. We've got Burkina Faso, we've got Niger, and Mali
yes.
pulling out of ECOWAS due to the fact that these 3 nations were suspended, but they're all being ruled by juntas, so probably we're not so surprised, but they made a very strong statement why they are pulling out.
They did, and of
talking about that the ECOWAS wasn't supporting them even when they're fighting insurgency.
Yes, and all of the genocide and all of that took place. Yes.
And I think it's to a great extent it's true that ECOWAS has not really supported these countries. Mali has been facing insurgency, jihadist war, Niger, the same thing, even Nigeria, but we've not seen, we used to know of ECOMOG troops, though it was disbanded at a point, but any form of support, even getting the international countries to support Africa, especially the Sahel region. We've not really seen ECOWAS do that.
And of course, ECOWAS is a rep of Economic Community of West African States in court, and they feel they're being sidelined or they're not being part of the reforms and whatever values the ECOWAS entails. So that is why they are pulling up. But of course, they're going to be facing heavy sanctions for this.
But the truth is that once you pull out, you don't have the right to sanction them anymore once they're not part of your body. But the truth is,
there are a lot of benefits when it comes to ECOWAS.
Yeah, there is, but as long as they are the ones leading their country right now, they have the right to say that. But on the flip side, like you rightly said, look, in terms of democracy, they should be facing more sanctions. But on the flip side, you look at, are they kind of right to say ECOWAS is being influenced by the foreign countries, and so they have drifted away from the Pan-Africanism that the founding fathers,
ideas,
so
and all of that.
to an extent, you want to say maybe, just maybe, they're right somewhere, because ECOWAS, you allow people, like for example, Niger, you have the president being there for 30, 40 plus years, which is truly so wrong. You cannot be that good that you stay there that long. So if ECOWAS condones this kind of government in the name of democracy, so I think to an extent you want to look at the other side and say, okay, I think maybe they're bending
their backs a bit when it comes to foreign countries.
And turning their eyes.
Yeah, but of course, the foreign countries have a lot to give when it comes to loans and all of these things. So,
but they take back through the other way.
But of course, they come as support systems. So you have to be extremely careful so you will not be cut off. So it's very important they have to tread softly.
All right.
That's ECOWAS. So.
All right, I don't know if we've got Dr. Moses Sali, who's supposed to join us via Zoom, just to give us some heads up as regards this discussion. Good morning, Dr. Moses Sali. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
We'd like to know if he has joined us. Okay.
No, he has.
Amazing. Nice to know you're up and ready to go. All right, let's just get your views as regards the issue playing out in ECOWAS, where we've got Burkina Faso, we've got Mali and Niger pulling out of the ECOWAS bloc. How bad is this situation right now?
Thank you very much, Tony. Good morning, and good morning to Mrs. Manson.
We can barely hear you.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now better. Now we can hear you. All right, so we're looking at the pulling out of these three nations being ruled by juntas after 49 years of ECOWAS existence. They made some very sweeping statements saying ECOWAS has been influenced by foreign bodies. They've not supported them fighting jihadists and insecurity over the years. Do you think they've got a point somewhere?
Thank you very much, Tony, for that question. The issue of terrorism and insurgency is not limited to these three countries.
True.
You know that Nigeria has been battling with it for a very long time, more than 10 years now. And there are other countries who have had incidences of insurgency and terrorism within the sub-region. So it's not limited to these three countries, as alleged. Concerning ECOWAS' role in the fight against insurgency and terrorism within the region, to some extent you could criticize them for that. But when you consider the kind of war or warfare being executed by these dissident groups, it's not a conventional warfare. It's a war of the guerrillas, and it's within the territory of a country. When ECOWAS begin to meddle into it, and insurgency everywhere in the world is a political fight. It's not just a pure military issue. It's a political issue. So I know that ECOWAS has a framework for counterinsurgency, but the implementation has been very, very abysmal. It has not been activated. Concerning, if you compare it to what we had in Sierra Leone, Liberia, and other, which were conventional, ECOWAS was more aggressive in that. But when it comes to counterinsurgency, they have been somehow laid back. And you cannot even limit it to ECOWAS. Even the UN, they are somehow laid back because of the nature of the warfare. So, accusing ECOWAS for not responding adequately to the issue of insurgency and terrorism, you cannot blame ECOWAS totally, because there were frameworks in place to address it. But though these frameworks didn't work well, we had the UN mission in Mali, we had the French in the Sahel region. All these were military agreements to bring about peace in the region. But unfortunately, this framework didn't address the problem adequately as expected. So that could be the reason why we are having such a issue.
All right, Mr. Moses, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and you?
All right, with this pulling out Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, are we likely to see more? Do you think, in your own opinion, they were likely to see more coup in the future?
And, you know, when these three nations, when they took over government, the military in these nations took over government, ECOWAS responded by, you know, slamming sanctions on them. You know, this attempt to withdraw from ECOWAS is as a result of the sanctions that ECOWAS slammed on them. And it's affecting their economies, affecting their people. It has increased the cost of living and all that, because all the things that the benefits that they were deriving as a result of being member of ECOWAS, they were restricted. In the sense of free trade and all that. You know, goods moving in, goods and services moving in unhindered. All these things have been somehow frustrated as a result of the sanctions that ECOWAS slammed on them for taking over governments within their countries. So that has a significant effect on the economies of this country. And that is why they are responding by, you know, threatening to withdraw from ECOWAS. Concerning that, these sanctions came because the military in these countries took over government. And the military administration or military government in the sub-region is an aberration, considering the agreements and the protocols that exist within ECOWAS. So they are not the first to receive such treatment from ECOWAS. There were countries who had such experience with ECOWAS. But what makes this one a bit different is that ECOWAS appears to come with heavy threats and all that before sanction, which I think was what what brought about the misunderstanding between the leadership of these countries and ECOWAS. So it's not likely. I don't see it as it's going to bring about more coups. I don't see it in that manner, that is going to bring about more coups in the sub-region. But what I see is that it's going to increase the tension within the sub-region in such a way that citizens of other countries within the sub-region might face one form of intimidation or harassment in one way or the other, as a way of expressing their dissatisfaction with the ECOWAS. That could happen. That is what I think will happen as a result of this move.
Okay.
Well, let's look at the fact that now they formed the Alliance of the Sahel States, is what they have formed, these three nations. What do you think is going to be the implication for Mohamed Bazoum, the president, outside president of Niger Republic, and also looking at what's the accusation that ECOWAS is being influenced by foreign bodies? Do you agree to that narrative?
Yeah, you know, it's easy to accuse that, you know, a body like ECOWAS is being influenced by foreign bodies. It's easy to say that because maybe what they are doing it doesn't fit into your expectation. As I have said, you know, military coup in the sub-region is an outlawed enterprise. It's not something that is welcome, even though they are driven by patriotism and all kinds of sentiments that may fit the narrative of the day. But as long as it's a military rule, you know, it's an aberration. For you to withdraw from ECOWAS, there are processes and procedures. Not just ECOWAS, any international organization that a state belongs. You can't just wake up in the morning and say you have withdrawn. That is not how it is done. You know, according to ECOWAS treaty, Article 91 of ECOWAS treaty, before you can withdraw your membership, you give a notice of 1 year. And when you serve the notice to the Secretary General, he will forward the notice of your withdrawal to all the members of the union or the organization. put them in notice that so-so country or so-so state has indicated its withdrawal. So that process will last for a year. Within that 1 year, if you change your mind and say, no, I'm no longer interested in withdrawing, the letter could be withdrawn and you remain a member. But you can't just wake up and say immediately you are withdrawing. That is not how it's done. That's not how it's done. Within that 1 year that you give that notice, all the obligations and all the duties that you should perform to the organization, you will do it. All your dues will be paid within that 1 year. They just came out on Sunday to announce to the world that they are leaving ECOWAS and with immediate effect. It does not happen that way. These are standard practices everywhere in any international organization all over the world. It's not limited to ECOWAS.
Or let's look at the president of outside president of Niger. What would this mean? And does it also mean that these three countries are willing or are planning to stay longer as leaders of their various nations?
Of course, if you look at the ages of those people, they are very young. And if you look at the history of these countries, the military, they come in military uniform, and at the end of the day, they conduct an election that keeps them in office for years. That is why when you were discussing, I overheard you saying some have stayed for 40 years. That's how they came in. They will come in via a military, and later they will say they want to become civilians. They will now conduct election and perpetuate themselves in office. That has been the style of these people, and people are aware of them. Concerning the reason why they took over government, it's a laudable reason. But, in a democracy, there are processes and procedures. That is what makes democracy distinct from other forms of government, because of the processes and procedures. It may not give you the immediate results that you desire, but at the long run, you are better off, because we are yet to see any form of government that is better than a democratic rule, because citizens' participation is key. For instance, now, if these countries were in a democracy and they want to withdraw from ECOWAS, they can't just wake up in the morning and say, we are withdrawing. The opinion of citizens will come in. The other structures of government will come in. Other arms of government will come in. The legislators will look at it and say we are withdrawing or we are not. But in this case, they took the decision on behalf of the country, and they feel that is what the country needs. That is what makes the military rule different from democracy. Citizens' participation is key to governance anywhere in the world. No matter how altruistic, no matter how Pan-Africanism that you are trying to portray, let your citizens have a say in the decision that you are making. That is what makes democracy quite different from every other forms of government. And you can see that because it's a military rule, they wake up in the morning and say we are leaving the body. And every other voices within their country will be suppressed to ensure that they align with such this. So to me, it's not a healthy move by these countries, because when you look at these countries, their economies are in shambles, and they need the ECOWAS, especially the protocols and the agreements that they have started. They need this ECOWAS to be able to, strengthen their economies within the sub-region. So by coming out with this type of decision, I don't think at the long run it will be a counterproductive. The issue of Bazoum that you are talking about, a coup has taken place, and I don't see Bazoum coming back as long as these guys are there. And no matter the pressure that may come from anywhere, they are not likely to hand over power back to Bazoum. So Bazoum, in my own opinion, is already gone. What you should be negotiating is his life now and safety. That is what you should be negotiating with these guys. If he's going to negotiate with them that he's no longer interested in the presidency, that they should allow him to leave the country so that he can be able to reunite with his family, maybe somewhere else outside the country. Or if he wishes to stay in the country, then he go there and keep quiet and do not make any comment and not say anything, don't agitate or don't provoke. These are the negotiations I think he should be having with them for now. But for him coming back as the president of Niger, I don't see that happening even now in the near future.
All right, let's quickly look at the prompt pullout of Niger, Mali, and of course Burkina Faso. Now, what are the likely sanctions in which they will face for this prompt pullout of the ECOWAS?
You know, they have been sanctioned already. And this attempt to pull out from ECOWAS is a response to the sanctions that they have received from ECOWAS, which is already hitting them hard within their countries. If you are talking of further sanctions, you know, what they may get is that one of the things they have asked them to do is to come up with a timetable on how to conduct election and return the country to democratic rule, which they are somehow laid back about it. If they do not come up with that, negotiate with ECOWAS and come up with a timeline for election to return the country to democratic rule, they may attract further sanctions, which may cripple them. And I think it's a smart move by these three guys to elongate themselves in power, because they know they are not willing to conduct election even as we speak. They are not willing. They are just hiding behind the backs of terrorism and insurgency, not to do anything in that regard. So by elongating their stay, it will attract further sanctions from ECOWAS, which may have a very strong effect, consequences on their nations and the economies of their nations.
All right, I want to say thank you for joining us for this first half of the talk. Hopefully by 8 a.m. dot, hope to have you back again as we get your views as regards the recent happening in Kogi State, where Yahaya Bello has handed over to Usman Ahmed Ododo as the executive governor of Kogi State. So we'll be waiting to get your take as regards his speech, the expectations and hurdles of the new government in Kogi State. That will be around 8 a.m. Hopefully we'll be able to have you back to join us and we'll get your very expert views on that talking point.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you very much. All right, that's how we're going to wrap up that first talk segment as regards what's happening in the African continent, talking about the economic community of West African states where Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger have threatened to pull out of the ECOWAS bloc. All right, it's now time for us to give more information with the AM news coming up next. Stay with us.